I bought the mirror at a yard sale from a woman who wouldn't look me in the eye. Old, she said without touching it. Heavy, been in the family a long time, 10 bucks. It was tall, maybe 7 feet, in a tarnished brass frame shaped like a cathedral window. The glass was old, imperfect, the kind that warped slightly around the edges, giving reflections a soft, dreamlike quality. Or so I thought. I brought it home that afternoon and leaned it against the hallway wall across from the bathroom. I didn't think much of it. I live alone, no pets, no visitors. It was just an old mirror. The first night I dreamed of standing in front of it, smiling at something behind me. But when I turned around, there was nothing. Only when I looked back at the mirror, I was still smiling. But I wasn't. At first, it was small things. The reflection wasn't wrong exactly, just lagging. I'd lift my arm to run my fingers through my hair, and for half a second, the reflection wouldn't follow, like it was thinking about it. Once, I caught it blinking when I didn't. I laughed it off. Old mirror, old glass. Brains play tricks. But then came the differences. One morning I passed by it and noticed my shirt was buttoned differently in the mirror. I looked down, all correct, but the reflection, the top button, was undone. It changed back when I stared. Then one night I caught my reflection scratching its arm. I wasn't scratching mine. I started avoiding it. I draped a blanket over it like some scared character in a horror movie. It didn't help. Every morning the blanket would be folded neatly beside it, not on the floor, folded. At 3 a.m. exactly, I'd wake up and hear whispering coming from the hallway. No words, just soft breath behind glass. I recorded it once on my phone. When I played it back, there was silence for 15 seconds. Then my voice, but I wasn't speaking. "You forget too easily," it said. "I keep it all." The mirror started reflecting things that weren't there. I'd walk past and see a second cup of coffee on my kitchen counter. In the mirror, steam rising. Turn around. Nothing. One time I saw a cat brush past my legs in the reflection. I even felt the fur on my shin. Nothing there. It was like the mirror remembered lives I never lived. Versions of me that had guests, pets, laughter. Then came the guilt. One morning I looked in the mirror and my reflection had tears running down its face. I wasn't crying, but I felt it. A wave of grief so crushing I dropped to my knees. I didn't know what I was mourning, but the mirror did. She appeared 3 nights in a row. In the reflection, just behind me, a pale woman in a long, old-fashioned dress. Her face was blurred, like smudged charcoal, hair hanging over her shoulders like a funeral curtain. Every time I turned around, there was no one. On the third night, she spoke. "Why did you leave me in the water?" I screamed. Not because I understood, but because my reflection turned and answered. "You were heavy, and the lake was cold." My mouth didn't move, but it was my voice. The next morning, my shoes were damp. I stopped leaving the house. The mirror was always active now, not just a reflection, but a window. It showed me things. Me holding a child I don't have. Me burying something in the backyard. Me standing in the middle of a crowd I don't recognize, grinning wide with empty eyes. It wasn't just memory, it was possibility. I started to feel less real, like I was the echo and the mirror was the source. Once I stared for too long and felt something pull, like gravity behind the glass. My vision went black for 3 seconds. When I came to, I was holding a knife in front of my own throat. No idea how it got there. Of course I did. I grabbed a hammer and slammed it against the glass. Nothing. The sound it made wasn't shattering. It was like breathing. I screamed and hit it again. The hammer bent. The mirror didn't even crack. Later, I looked at my reflection. It had bruises on its face. I didn't. Not yet. I found a notebook on my nightstand. I didn't put it there. Every page was filled with my handwriting, dozens of entries I never wrote. She drowned at 2:43 a.m. The man behind the tree is getting closer. I can't remember my mother's face anymore, but the mirror can. I stopped feeding it. Now it's hungry, and finally, I think it wants to take over. I stood in front of the mirror for hours. I didn't blink. Neither did it. At 3 a.m., "Oh, no, I am." It smiled. "You've wasted your life," it whispered. "I could live it better." I shook my head. "You're just a reflection." "No, I'm the version of you that didn't hesitate, didn't hide, didn't forget. I am the honest one." It raised its hand. I didn't. It touched the inside of the glass. "Let me out." I ran. I called friends. No answer. Emailed coworkers. No reply. I walked outside and waved at my neighbor. She looked confused, like I was a stranger. My name disappeared from my mailbox. My ID stopped working. The world had begun forgetting me, but the mirror remembered. And every time I passed it, my reflection looked more solid, more present. I looked faded, washed out. Now it moves freely. Not much, but enough. Last night I woke up to find it standing upright, not leaning. My reflection was gone, just the room behind me. But no me, until I blinked. Then it was back, smiling slightly. This morning it winked, and there was something behind it. A second frame, a darker mirror, another room. I don't know what's real anymore. I hear footsteps when I'm alone. I see shadows where there's no light. The mirror is no longer glass, it's open. Last night I stood in front of it. My reflection stepped forward, closer. It said, "I've earned this life. You've wasted it. Let me try." I asked who it really was. It smiled. "I'm who you would have become if you'd made all the wrong choices." I asked if it would leave if I gave it what it wanted. It said, "I already have." When I looked around the room, I was inside the mirror, and the other me was gone. There's no time in here, only reflection. I walk through an endless corridor of silver surfaces. Each one is a version of me. Some are weeping. Some are laughing with blood on their teeth. Some are just staring. I try to speak, but no sound comes out. Only silence, thick like syrup. The kind that fills your lungs. I scream anyway. The mirror doesn't echo, it absorbs. I saw my apartment again. Through one of the mirrors. He's there, the version that took my place. He wears my clothes, eats my food, looks into his phone like he belongs in that skin. He doesn't flinch at the sounds in the walls. He smiles when someone calls my mom name. He even laughs, like he earned the right to. Last night, or maybe 1,000 years ago, I saw him talking to someone. A woman. Long black hair, pale skin, dressed like a ghost from a forgotten photo. She smiled and said, "You remembered me after all." He didn't answer, just touched her hand. They walked away together. She never looked at the mirror, but I knew she was from before, from the reflection's memory, from mine. Now the reflections speak in unison. They lean in, hundreds of me, whispering the same phrase. "You gave up, I didn't. That's why I won." The last mirror at the end of the corridor is dark. No reflection, no sound. I reach out, and for the first time, it's warm. Not glass, skin. Something grabs my hand from the other side and pulls. I wake up screaming, but not in my bed, in a stranger's room. Photos on the wall of a life I don't know, but my face is in every one. The mirror is across from me, blank. I lean in slowly, and my reflection says, "Took you long enough," then winks. I stop trying to escape. The new world, if I can call it that, has walls made of memory. Hallways loop on themselves. Every room I enter is a place I almost lived. A wedding I never had. A funeral I didn't attend. A birthday party for someone who calls me dad in a voice I don't recognize. They all look so real, so complete. But when I reach out to touch any of it, the surface ripples. It's all reflection. The only thing that doesn't change is him. The man who replaced me, the mirror version. He looks stronger now, sharper, as if my weakness nourished him. People love him. They never loved me like that. He goes out, he laughs, he holds the woman I once dreamed of marrying. And when he looks into the mirror, he doesn't see me anymore. He only sees himself. But someone else does. A boy, maybe 5 or 6. I saw him walk past the mirror last night. He froze, looked right at me. Who are you, he asked. I pressed my hand to the glass. He didn't flinch. That's not my dad, he whispered. You look scared. He never looked scared. Then he was pulled away. I watched my reflection self pat him on the head, smile, and wink toward the mirror, just slightly. Now the glass is colder, thicker, more distant. The corridor of mirrors has started dimming. One by one, the lights go out. Reflections fade. I think the mirror is forgetting me. I whisper into the void again and again. Don't forget me. Don't let me go. But it wants to, because he's doing better. He fits. I don't. Sometimes I wonder if I deserve this. If maybe the mirror didn't take my life, but gave it to someone who could use it better. Tonight I saw something new. Another mirror. Clean, fresh, in a thrift store, waiting. And someone, a stranger, to walk by it. The glass shimmered. My face flickered behind theirs. Just for a second. They didn't notice. But I did. That's how it begins. A blink, a chill, a reflection you don't remember making. So if you ever see a mirror that feels too heavy, too cold, if you ever pass by and it lingers, if your reflection smiles before you do, run, because it remembers, and it might be ready to trade again.